When we think about food being bad, we usually imagine something that looks, smells, or tastes off. But what if the biggest dangers on your plate were completely invisible? Today, we are diving deep into the world of food contamination. Okay, let's start with something we've all seen. On one side, you've got a perfect, ready-to-eat avocado, and on the other, well, that one's clearly seen better days. It's brown, mushy, definitely spoiled. It's pretty obvious which one you'd pick, right? But here's where it gets interesting. While the brown avocado is obviously spoiled, could that perfectly good-looking one also be risky? And yep, the answer is yes. Understanding why is absolutely the first step to keeping yourself safe. This really gets to a super important distinction in food safety. So, let's break this down. It's a fundamental concept. Spoiled versus contaminated. Because, not all bad food is bad in the same way, and the difference is way bigger than just taste. Think of it this way. Food spoilage, that's a quality problem. The food just breaks down, it changes smell, texture, taste. It's gross, but it probably won't put you in the hospital. But food contamination? Now that's a safety problem. That's when food has harmful stuff in it, even if it looks, smells, and tastes totally normal. Okay, so keeping that difference in mind, let's jump into our first major food hazard, chemical contamination. This is all about those invisible substances that can find their way into our food supply. So where do these chemicals even come from? Well, all over the place, really. You've got heavy metals like mercury, which are just naturally in the earth. Then you've got toxins that plants actually make themselves. And of course, there are the man-made ones, like pesticides from farming or even plasticizers that can leach out of packaging. A classic example of a heavy metal threat is mercury. It builds up in the food chain, so big predator fish can have pretty high levels. In really bad cases, it can cause something called Minamata disease, which is serious stuff. It messes with your nervous system, affecting everything from muscle control to your vision and speech. But hey, not all threats are man-made. Plants can't exactly run away from things that want to eat them, right? So they make their own toxins to defend themselves. Take potatoes. They produce these things called glycoalkaloids, especially in any parts that have gone green or started to sprout. Eat enough of that and it can actually be harmful. But what's really cool is how easy it is to deal with these natural toxins. Lectins in beans, for instance, can make you super sick if you eat them raw. It only takes like 4 or 5 raw kidney beans. It really shows how a healthy food can be dangerous if you don't prep it right. But just cook them well with moist heat and poof, the danger's gone. And for potatoes, just cut off the green parts. Simple. All right, next up is the one that probably makes us all squirm a little bit. Physical contamination. And this is exactly what it sounds like. Foreign objects ending up where they shouldn't be, in our food. We're talking hair, glass shards, dirt, even pests. And besides just being completely disgusting, these things are genuinely dangerous. They can make you choke, break a tooth, or even cut up your insides. And believe me, this stuff really happens. It's not just some theoretical risk. I mean, look at this. Someone was eating fish soup and found a toothbrush in it. A toothbrush. Or this one. A customer is enjoying a beef rice bowl and bites down on a metal nail. An incident like that just screams that there was a massive breakdown in safety procedures somewhere along the food prep line. And this next example, well, it just shows how incredibly serious and disturbing this can get. In what has to be an extreme case, something found in a pasta dish was later confirmed by authorities to be a rodent's head. It's a horrifying reminder of why hygiene standards are just not optional. So that brings us to our third and final hazard. And this one is actually the most common cause of foodborne illness out there, biological contamination. Yeah, we're talking about living things. This happens when our food gets contaminated by tiny, harmful microorganisms we call pathogens. You know the main culprits: bacteria, viruses, and parasites. And here's the truly scary part. Unlike spoiled food, these little guys don't change the taste, smell, or look of the food at all. So this is the key takeaway, right? Food can look and smell absolutely perfect, but it could be crawling with dangerous pathogens. And raw foods like chicken and eggs are pretty famous for carrying these invisible hitchhikers. Let's just quickly look at 2 of the most well-known troublemakers. You've got salmonella, which you often find in poultry and eggs, and it'll give you things like a fever and diarrhea. Then there's E. coli, which can be in raw meat or milk. It's a real sign of poor hygiene and can cause some nasty abdominal pain. Okay, so after hearing about all these scary hazards, I know what you're thinking. How on earth do we protect ourselves? Well, the good news is a lot of prevention is actually in our own hands. First, we have to talk about a really important idea: cross-contamination. It's basically when harmful germs get transferred from one thing to another. Our hands, our cutting boards, our knives, they can all become little vehicles, spreading those germs around without us even knowing it. This picture shows exactly how easy it is for that to happen. Imagine you're handling raw fish on a cutting board. Then, without washing your hands or the board, you grab some cooked chicken that's ready to eat. Bam. Just like that, you've moved potentially nasty bacteria from the raw food right onto the cooked food. The great news is, stopping this is actually pretty simple if you just follow these 5 basic rules that food safety experts all agree on. 1. Keep everything clean. Wash your hands, wash your surfaces. 2. Separate raw and cooked food. Don't let them touch. 3. Cook your food all the way through to kill any germs. 4. Keep food at safe temperatures. Keep hot food hot and cold food cold. And 5. Always start with safe water and good quality ingredients. It really all boils down to what the Food Hygiene Code says here. It's about building good habits. Having solid procedures in your kitchen, whether you're at home or in a pro kitchen, is hands down the best way to lower the risk of getting sick. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a final thought. Just think about your own kitchen, your own habits. What's one small thing you could start doing today that could make a huge difference in your safety? Maybe it's finally getting a separate cutting board for raw meat, or just being a little more careful about washing your hands. What's your new habit going to be?